Hey guys, this is Rex from RFTCG, your home for all things competitive One Piece. Today we're going to be going over an example Black-Yellow Luffy deck list, as well as giving you an overview of the cards within the deck and what roles they play. Before we hop into it, we want to shout out our amazing sponsor, Dueling Guard. If you want high-quality anime-themed deck boxes with killer art, production quality, they're the people to go to. They just dropped Tokyo Ghoul and Chainsaw Man collections, so be sure to check them out at duelingguard.com and use our code REDFORCE at checkout for 5% off your purchase. With that out of the way, let's hop right in. So Luffy is a bit of a combo-centric deck, and it all works because of the leader, so let's go over him first. He's black and yellow, of course, but plays very different from any black or yellow deck you've ever seen before. The leader starts at 4 life and has the effect of Dawn times 2. If you have 0 life cards, discard a card and add up to 2 5-drop characters from your hand or trash to your life face up. That obviously sounds incredibly powerful, and of course it is, but there is a drawback. Your face-up life cards, when specifically playing this leader, do not go to your hand or trash. Instead, any face-up life card that is taken as damage goes to the bottom of your deck instead. This does mean that anything that has to take life as cost for an effect does not resolve, but the cost can still be paid, so please be careful whenever you're activating those effects. This also means anything with a trigger will not have the opportunity to trigger due to the triggers needing to be able to enter the hand to activate. But that's the gist, though. Well, I'm sure you can already see how this leader may be powerful. Let's take a look at some of the combo pieces that push this leader into potential Tier 1 territory. So, for the combo pieces, we're going to go over the little guys first. These are your combo enablers. They all read very similarly, but let's go over them. They all have the ability Activate Main, trash this card as cost from the board, reveal the top card of your life, and if it is a 5-drop version of their respective name, Ace, Sabo, or Luffy, you may play that card from your life, and your leader gains 2k base power until the end of your opponent's next turn. This is incredibly powerful, and you'll see the payoff for these effects when we go over the big guys next. There are plays where you can resolve 2 of these very efficiently, and your leader turns into a 9k base leader, which is incredibly powerful for both offense and defense. A lot of your early game will revolve around pooling these cards in your hand, as well as their big brother counterparts to enable combos in the mid to late game. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the big brothers. Alright, now this is the payoff for all of your setup you will do in the early stages of your matches. At the moment, I believe these are all of the legal targets for your little brother effects, but they are all great, so let's go over them each. Black Sabo is a card we're already familiar with. In case you aren't, Black Sabo is a blocker that on play draws 2, then trashes 2 cards from hand. After you resolve this, any card on the field when this resolves cannot be KO'd by effects until your next turn, so the end of your opponent's turn, including himself. This card is obviously great. It helps you set up your late game plays as it lets you filter your hand for the specific pieces you're looking for, as well as discards of 5-drops from your hand if you don't want them there, because they can be put back into your life by your leader effect later in the game. This card is also part of the incredibly potent 10 Don combo we'll be going over shortly. Now to Yellow Sabo, this card is seen in some deck lists as its cost for its effect can be steep, but is mostly here to be played by just playing 5 Don rather than off the Little Sabo's effect. On play, you can trash a card from the top or bottom of your life as cost, then KO a 5 cost or less on your opponent's side of the board. Pretty self-explanatory. Removal's obviously strong. This cost is, again, pretty hefty, so most lists you'll see will only be running 1 or 2 of them, since Black Sabo is the primary combo target. Now, 5-drop Luffy is next. This card is great. He has the effect of Activate Main. Once per turn, he gains 2k power. Then if you have 1 or more life, trash the top card of your life and draw a card. This card is essentially a 5-drop 8k unit. You'll often find yourself using his effect if your opponents are trying to keep your life total high, so that you cannot use your Luffy leader ability to stack specific combo pieces for your little brother effects. Something important to note is that there is no cost tied to this card. You can activate this at 0 life and still get the 2k power boost. You will not get to draw a card, but obviously just going to 8k until the end of your opponent's turn is very powerful, so definitely don't sleep on him. Last but not least, we have potentially the best card of the bunch, which is Ace. This card gains Rush as long as you have 2 or less life whenever he is played. We've all seen how powerful Rush cards have been in the past, especially among the first few sets of the game with decks like Whitebeard. This card is definitely no exception. Not much else to say here. 5 or 7 with Rush is an incredibly powerful card, and you'll see what I mean as you get your hands on the deck and play them for yourself. Alright, with the key combo components out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about some of the utility cards. Now you'll see that some of these are from EB-01, but that set is only a few weeks away. It comes out, I think, 2 weeks after the release of the deck, so you won't have to wait very long to get your hands on them. But let's start with a card you already might own, Hiyori. This card is great for putting specific combo pieces back into your life from hand. A common turn 2 play is going second is going to be play Hiyori. Take one of your life, stack one of your big brothers from your hand into your life, then play a little brother to play the card that you put there off of Yori's effect. You then gain 2k, obviously, from the little brother effect. It's very strong because you essentially get to play a 5-drop on 4 Don. It does cost a 2k, but generally that's pretty worth it. Next up is Viola. This is just an efficient blocker. Blocker for 2, obviously good. Can help out in a pinch. It can help you look at your opponent's life if you're trying to play around specific triggers, like let's say against Katakuri or Enel, or you could choose to flip all of your life face down when you play it, which essentially turns off the downside to your leader's effect. This could be particularly powerful for trigger cards like Shirahoshi, which is also a 5-drop, so that means you could play it from your, you can put it into your life with your leader effect. Normally you obviously wouldn't get to trigger that if you take the hit, but with Viola you definitely could. Now, a card that I am not currently running, but a lot of lists I've seen have been running a couple copies of him, is 6-drop Edward Newgate. Whitebeard 6-drop is a decent body with counter, so you can play him on a mid-range turn as you're ramping up to your big combo plays on turns 4 and 5. It heals from top deck, then you get to look at your life, place a card back on top of your deck from your life, and rearrange the rest as you want, so it can set up potentially some plays on the following turn with the little brothers if you stack the big brothers to the top of your life. So definitely not a bad card, you can definitely consider running him. Makino and Flampe both serve very similar roles here. They are your typical 2k combos of choice in Luffy for one main reason. They take your own life. Lots of strategies against Luffy involves trying to starve his life so that you can't set up his combo plays, which is leader effect, which are what make him so powerful. These cards let you shut that plan down at the cost of playing your 2ks onto the board. Flampe is incredibly good for this, as it also lets you draw a card while you're doing it, so it replaces itself. Makino is still good, just a little less good as it rearranges your life similar to Edward Newgate, but does not replace itself in your hand like Flampe. Both are very strong cards in their role regardless. Last but not least, we have the Searcher event. We've all seen these before. The role is very clear. Consistency. 3 brothers bond searches top 5 for any of the 3 brothers, little or big. The trigger does the exact same thing. Not much else to say, but play it if you feel like you need more consistency. Now, on to the fun stuff. Gecko Moria, obviously incredibly powerful in this deck. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with him at this point. But he is potentially stronger in this deck than he has been in any deck in the past, and here is an example of why. So on 10 Don, you can play him, get back 2 little brothers from your trash, then attach the remaining 2 Don to your leader to put 2 put 2 cards into your life from your trash that match the little brothers that you played off of Moria's effect. Then you get to resolve both of those effects by trashing those cards from the field, gaining 4k power total on your leader, and playing 18 Don worth of bodies for only 10 total between the cost of Moria and the Don attached to your leader. This is obviously incredibly powerful. It makes challenging Luffy's late game incredibly daunting. These are most certainly the most powerful turns the deck can have, and you'll definitely feel the power when you resolve this combo. Alright, well now we've gone over the cards. Let's go ahead and take a look at an example deck list I've personally been testing on the online sim. You'll notice I'm playing 2 of the Yellow Sabo I mentioned earlier and not running the Searcher event that was shown in the utility section. Instead, I'm just running 4 1-drop Garp, which serves the same function as the Searcher. Most lists you'll see are running both Garp and the Searcher event, but I've chosen to play Shirahoshi in that slot instead for the extra 1k counters. The ability to still filter your cards off of the draw trigger, and also the incredibly strong interaction between putting Shirahoshi back in life with my leader and playing Viola to put them back face down so I can trigger them when my opponent hits my face. It's worth noting, sometimes you can also opt to play Viola off of Gecko on those late turns if you feel like you just need the extra defense, so that interaction can work there as well. Other than that, the list should pretty much make sense based off of the cards we've already gone over in this video. You want to max out on your important combo pieces and fit in as much game plan utility cards like Flampe and Makino as you feel you need. If you guys have any questions about the deck, feel free to leave a comment asking anything and we will do our best to answer. We also plan to put out a gameplay video detailing some of the plays as a pseudo tutorial, but also just a general gameplay video so you guys can learn to play the deck from us if you're struggling with some of the playlines. So make sure you subscribe to catch that the moment it drops. With all that said, that's it for me here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys see success with the deck when it drops next week. Peace.